Hello and good afternoon, folks. My name is Rich Longo, and I'll be your host for today's presentation. Thank you for joining us for another Flycast Partners webinar. Today's webinar is Transforming Your IT Environment with a Manager of Monitors, presented by Bobby McCullough. Bobby has been in the IT industry for well over 20 years and started with Flycast Partners to help us expand our reach into digital transformation. He has been involved in implementation of multiple tools for major multinational financial organizations, software engineer for USPS, ITIL 3 and Scrum certified with experience in ITSM, ITFM, ITAM, and digital transformation. Before we get started, Bobby, let me take a couple moments to introduce our organization, Flycast Partners. We're here to deliver a seriously amazing IT experience founded and staffed by personnel that have many years of experience in the IT space. We took the best ideas from these collective experiences and added the best components necessary to grow and become a leading value-added reseller in the North American IT market. We offer best-in-class implementation services and training in ITSM, ITAM, workload automation, capacity optimization, artificial intelligence, cost control, enterprise service management, all using ITIL best practice. Our professional services can easily scale up or down in order to meet the IT needs of any customer, regardless of your size, complexity, or budgetary restrictions. We offer implementation services both on-site and remote, as well as training to reinforce your company's long-term IT success. Our ongoing remote administration and support service offerings will enable your organization to focus on those normal day-to-day operations, saving you both time and money. I encourage you to reach out to us directly at 844-FLYCAST. That's 844-359-2278, 844-FLYCAST, or simply go to our website and research whatever it is that you might be interested in. Take a look at all the various technology offerings that we have, download white papers, take a look at some data sheets, take a look at some of the training that we offer as well, some of the process assistance that we could possibly give you, or maybe some implementation services. I encourage you to take a look at our training page, as we do offer everything from ITIL training and a variety of different courses depending on what your individual needs are. So with that being said, I encourage you to also take a peek at upcoming webinars that may be of interest to you or your department or your coworkers. Invite some of your friends or coworkers to sign up by simply hitting the invite key. Without further delay, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to our presenter today, Bobby. Bobby, I'm handing the screen over to you now, sir, and you should be able to grab it. And I can hear your volume loud and clear.
So today we're going to talk about the Manager of Monitors. So really, first question, what is that? What is the Manager of Monitors? Is it a person? Is it a position in IT? Is it something else entirely? I certainly hope it's neither of these guys. To understand the Manager of Monitors, we need to understand some concepts of the core and the edge first. So all organizations are undergoing some type of digital transformation. Maybe it's an active transformation where you're upgrading to the latest Ribbity Force or something like that. Sometimes it could be a passive transformation as well. You're set with your particular version of a tool, but the hardware around it or the other tools that it communicates with are changing. So you're forced to undergo a certain amount of transformation from that end, where it's really kind of forced upon you. So really all organizations are undergoing some type of digital transformation. With IT operations, that's really happening at the core. Those are the applications that you manage. Those are the devices that you manage, maybe databases, storage, arrays, middleware, all those type of things that that IT is responsible for handling. That, you know, really the things that are sort of cost center type items. They hit the bottom line. They enable the business side, but they're really something that that hits the bottom line. But what the core is there for is to enable the business. And the business are your field operations, you know, human resources, sales, obviously, marketing. The core is what enables the business to do their business. It enables them to be more efficient, enables them to interact better with the customers, to understand the business better, and to provide better services. So this is really where the innovation occurs, is out over on the business or over on the edge. So there's a natural conflict here where IT is looking to manage and keep things as they are, and the whole at the same time the business is driving innovation and change. So really, we believe this is a natural and healthy tension. Innovation is going to begin at the edge, management's going to begin at the core, and all along the way there's going to be a push. Innovation is going to want distribution. I want what I think is good, you want what you think is good. To manage that, it needs to be centralized. Innovation is going to break from the standards. Management is going to try to implement standards or require using standards. Innovation looks for something to be unique. Management looks for it to be common. Competitive advantage, you know, what's different about us, what makes us better. Management is just looking operational excellence. How can we be better at those things that we do? Dynamic energy, predictable power, both ways to move the organization forward, different ways of looking at them. Innovation looks to be revolutionary, management looks to be evolutionary. So how does an organization benefit from this natural and healthy tension that exists? This is really how you develop sustainable success. The business is going to drive innovation. It's going to make your organization move beyond whatever is the standard. And IT operations their job is going to be how to incorporate that with their current standards, their current management practices, and what new management practices and standards must be developed so that we can cover that new innovation. So that's really, if you sat in many of the BMC presentations, elevating IT operations is really a key focus for a lot of our messaging. The idea there is that IT is often considered a cost center, and we try to present tools and solutions that are going to allow you to present IT as more of a value center, something that's more than a cost center, more than just something that affects the bottom line from a cost perspective. It's something that actually brings value over to the business side. TrueSight is key to that, and being the manager of monitors is key to elevating those IT operations to meet business demands and enabling that innovation that we've talked about. So I want to talk a bit about the breadth of the TrueSight solution. TrueSight really covers your entire IT operations. We start here from a foundation around the cloud. Where's our hardware, our virtual machines? They can be managed from a private cloud, a public cloud data center. We really don't care. TrueSight understands the digital enterprise and understands that things can be distributed and not centralized, and can look very different throughout an organization. And so from a enterprise perspective, we're very agnostic on the type of platform that we might work with. This is the beginning of the manager of monitors. Moving up the stack here to the monitoring domain, this is really the heart of TrueSight. You know, what are we going to communicate with to manage from an operational perspective? You know, databases, what's going on with our storage, hardware, mainframe systems, network, Internet of Things, all these different type of things, varied type of things that your organization might be trying to manage. And this is really a problem. The complexity of monitoring has become increasingly difficult because organizations are oftentimes siloed. The particular application group may have a tool to monitor their application, but it doesn't really help anything with their IT infrastructure. So there's multiple vendor tools that organizations are using. IT infrastructure is changing. You know, years ago, mainframes and distributed networks, and now we're looking at containerized systems. So things are really changing. Multi-cloud environments where you've got systems and services that span data centers and clouds, both public and private. So there's lots of things there, challenges that come up around monitoring, and this is really where TrueSight shines. TrueSight is a gap stop for any of those monitoring areas where you might not have a monitoring solution already, but in any of the areas where you've already got a monitoring solution, TrueSight's going to be able to integrate with it and provide that true single pane of glass for your organization. We can go here and look at the different types of tools and systems that TrueSight can integrate with. These are some of the standards. We've also got an open API that's available that will allow you to create anything, contract with us to create anything, any other connection that you might need that's not already available in the system. So if we're monitoring the entire organization, what can we do with that? I'm going to skip these for just a second and come back to them. I'm going to talk a bit about our machine learning and analytics. And if you came to any of the, if you came to the TrueSight presentation we did last year, we talked about the brain in the box. And this is really where TrueSight's machine learning allows you to take your operations, your IT operations over to the next level into AI ops, where you're not just using things like static thresholds and limited views of your capacity. This is a big data, machine learning type view of your environment to help provide those extra answers that you might could develop yourselves, but it would take lots of manpower and lots of time in order to do that. So having that background, having that foundation, bringing those various data streams in from all the different types of monitoring tools that you might have in your organization, or monitoring through TrueSight itself where you might not have a monitoring solution, you then can bring in those events. And it's great to have all these event management solutions or a way to bring all this data in, but it can easily overwhelm organizations with false positives based around static thresholds. Unprioritized and duplicate events really is just it's difficult with the overwhelming amount of data that comes in when you're monitoring all those events. TrueSight, though, allows us to apply machine learning and dynamic baselines so that we eliminate some of the noise, so that the system understands what normal should look like on an hourly, daily, weekly, monthly basis, and really understand how your environment should behave, so that it cuts down on those false positives, it eliminates duplicate events, and really reduce the noise so that only those things that need your attention get your attention from the event management perspective. Root cause analysis. This is always key. During the demo, I'm going to jump over into the system here in just a bit, and we'll talk a little bit about root cause analysis. Sometimes that's how you might use your events to recognize an issue, and because of your knowledge of those issues, you might have a hunch, but then you have to do some root cause analysis to make sure that you're right. And I'm going to show you how that can happen within the tool. That's difficult with the large data sets of log data, machine data, trying to go through it to find what's going on. TrueSight, though, gives us a big data analytic type tool that allows us to really drill into the root cause on issues, searching for trends and anomalies in that log data for us. Again, bringing all this data together, we've really got the basis for capacity optimization. This is actually, I believe, our next session in the series to cover capacity in more detail. A lot of organizations, their method of capacity optimization is to throw more hardware or virtual machines at a problem. And industry estimates are that most organizations are 90% over capacity. And having a capacity optimization tool allows you to bring those costs down, eliminate infrastructure that may not be needed, so that you've got what the resources that you need. You're not underutilizing, and you're definitely not overutilizing any of your resources. And service and app impact. I'm sorry. My Microsoft PowerPoint just died on me. Service app impact. So our challenge around understanding what's going on with a particular service or app. Again, it's that complete holistic view of what's going on. You know, someone calls with a problem with a particular enterprise application. The database guys blame the network guys blame the web interface guys blame the database guys. So it's difficult to find out what's really going on. So TrueSight, through the manager of monitors, is going to give us that holistic view, that holistic approach where we can see the entire organization. And this really sort of gets to my use case in the demonstration that I've got for you, where we've got a complete service view of an organization and can quickly drill in and find out what's going on and what's having an issue, and quickly identify those root causes to find out what's going on. Eliminating noise, using the machine learning to eliminate noise and help me get to the things that need my attention. And then once they have my attention, I can get to the root cause even faster. So before I jump over to the demo real quick, I just wanted to talk about our last block here, our service desk and Discovery CMDB. This is where we can integrate in with those other tools. Not having that integrated can lead to increased mean time to repair, can cause some inefficiencies in organizations. TrueSight through its defined integrations with Remedy4, ServiceNow, those type tools, an open API with any other tool that you might have. We're able to integrate with the CMDB for the discovery, bring in those service models, as well as the service desk for incident tickets, and keep the systems in sync on both sides. So I'm going to jump over to the application right now. So this is TrueSight, and when you see TrueSight, you really should think of it sort of as a Rubik's Cube. You can twist it, turn it, look at it from really many perspectives. It depends on which perspective makes the most sense to you. And so I'm going to start this looking at our services. Now, there's certain aspects of the screen here that are consistent throughout the tool. The main one is the color coding. It's designed to get your attention where it needs your attention. And right here, I can see that it looks like I've got some issues with my wealth management service. So if I drill into that service, I can see the simple service model that TrueSight is able to build. But if I integrate this in with my CMDB, in this case my Atrium CMDB, I'm able to bring in the entire service model and see exactly what's going on, understand from the entire organization all the aspects of this particular service. Now, if I know there's some issues, several ways I could drill into those. One of those would be to look at the events. For me personally, this is a noisy view to me, so I don't really care to look at it from here, but it's available from here, and you'll see it throughout the tool. As we drill in, you'll see events, devices, applications, and so on. If we move on over to our devices, here I can see right away I've got some trouble with this particular server. So one of the easiest ways to find out what's going on is just to drill into that machine. Now it pops up my monitors, so this lets me know everything is being monitored on the system. But now once I've drilled into a machine, this is where the event view makes more sense to me. Several ways to get to it. Click on the event or up where it's alerting me that there's an issue. And I can see here that my stock trader application has got some transaction latency. And so I wonder what might be causing that. So let's take a look at a tool called the probable cause analysis. So with a couple of clicks, I'm at my event that needs my attention. And now I'm telling the system what correlates with this issue. And so by default, the system uses some analysis to go out and find which other events has it captured in TrueSight that seem to be related to this. Now you notice that my critical event that this is looking on occurred at this particular time. It looks a little bit past it and even more before it. And then there's an analysis focus. This is how specific it is to the issue that I've got. So we've got timing and then specificity. If we don't find anything from a probable cause analysis, we can expand this and reanalyze, or increase our focus and reanalyze, or both. But I can see here that I've got something that the system believes with a 95% confidence rate that this is related to the issue that I've got, my critical issue. And the score is how confident the system believes this is related to your issue. So this is telling me my GET requests are above all baselines. So when I look at this, I can pull my event details up, and my performance overview, and I can see right away that I've got a spike. I had a spike in the system. Now, this is actually available in a dashboard. This is something that you could put in a screen that's customizable for you so that you can easily see when something like this happens. History tells me that this is likely to be a denial of service attack. We don't normally just get a jump in folks coming to our websites to purchase or look, but I need to make sure of that. So I'm going to go back to my culprit, and I'm going to tell it to launch our IT data analytics. So this is our big data tool that pours through that log data and machine data and helps present it to us in a way that's logical and makes sense. There are a lot of standard dashboards for presenting different information, different machine data and log data in different ways. This is a tool that's cross-launched from TrueSight. It's looking for a specific host within a time range, so it's showing us all those logs. It's showing us in an optimized view, so I'm going to change this to my detailed view. And it just gives me a little bit more information, including a session ID. So I notice that my session ID seems to be the same. So I'm going to click on this, and that will add it to my search criteria. So when I do that, if you notice, nothing changed. So this means that this spike in activity on my website is coming from the same session ID. Different IP addresses, same session ID, I've got a denial of service attack. So very quickly there, I was able to understand that I had an issue. I was able to understand what was the source of that issue, and understand and prove that it was correct. And so now I can make the proper adjustments to address that. But I said earlier there are multiple views of all of this. So here we were looking at it from a services view. There's also an applications view. And so that same stock trader application, we have a view. I was in this system earlier. You have a view of the stock trader application that sort of gives you that end-to-end view of what's going on. Here we're just looking at that element of the service, but it shows us each of these tiers. My end user tier, this is where we can do real end user monitoring. With an application, you inject a little SQL script into it, and JavaScript into it, and understand exactly what's going on the end user. Synthetic tier, where we can run transactions against the system. We're expecting a doubling in business in the next quarter. How will the system respond? You can simulate that and find out what's going on. What's happening with our network? What's happening with our web systems? What's happening with our application systems and our database systems? So you get that complete, holistic, 360-degree view of the environment, whether we're looking at it from a service perspective or an application perspective. And notice everything, again, is color-coded. I could go to all events, or I could drill in just to those that it deems are critical. So it makes it very easy for you to find what it is that you need in the tool, what needs your attention, and able to get to the root cause quickly. Within the different views, the different Rubik's Cube views, you've got devices. Each of these screens, you're able to define favorites, and you're able to assign security as well, so that you can have multiple users logging in and only seeing those things that they're able to control. One of the nice things about the system is sort of this ad hoc side of the Rubik's Cube. Services, events, devices, and applications are kind of defined for you. Groups are your way of defining some collection of that on your own that's completely unrelated to anything else. You just define you've got a guy that or a group that's responsible for a particular application, for a particular piece of hardware and a particular database, but really those are separate services or devices or whatever. You can put them all in a group and allow them have access to that group, and they'll be able to navigate to this screen and get right to that. So very, very user-friendly from that perspective, as well as dashboards. Dashboards are where you can create your own quick views into the system and share those views with other users of the system as well. We'll give this screen just a second to load. And here, this is a global end user experience dashboard. These are all completely configurable by you. If you purchase something like TrueSight, we like to feed you a little fish and teach you how to fish. So we would develop these for you and show you how we did it, so that you'd be able to modify them and make other dashboards going forward. Again, notice how these are color-coded, so you can see what it is that needs your attention, really at the click of a mouse. Early on, we talked about certain performance elements being viewable from the dashboard, and this is just one example of where we can bring those over. The last thing I wanted to show was our global thresholds. This screen takes a little bit to load. So one of the benefits of TrueSight we talked about early on was in not having static thresholds. You can actually use dynamic thresholds through the machine learning. And so the global threshold screen is where those thresholds can all be defined. And the system's very intelligent, where starting out, you can actually have a combination of static and dynamic thresholds, so that the system, to help eliminate false positives. And then once we have enough data where we're able to do good baselines of recent history, you're able to generate predictive events. And so this is where the system will actually go in and when a particular metric here for maybe Amazon Web Services is trending up, your EC2 disk usage is trending up, and it's trending toward the threshold and looks like it's going to cross it, you can generate predictive events. So very, very user-friendly, very expansive. This is all importable, configurable here from the screen, and you're able to assign these globally and then modify them at the local monitor level as needed. So that's really the end of the demonstration portion of today's webinar. I just want to talk a bit about TrueSight and how it's changed over time. TrueSight has been a leader and remains a leader in IT operations and event management. Bringing in AI ops this year or last year, and really changing the system to an app and user-centric approach. Systems really stayed in that upper right-hand Gartner quadrant, and they've got a future commitment as well. I've seen some of the new things we're coming out with cloud cost management and what we're doing with budgeting and cloud cost optimizations. Really neat what's happening there. There's some more webinars that are going to be addressing those topics, as well as I believe the next one is TrueSight capacity optimization. Rich, we've got about 7 more minutes. I don't know if we've had any questions.
We haven't had any questions as of yet, but if anybody does have any questions, now's the time to go ahead and type those in the Q&A section of this webinar, and Bobby will try to answer as many of them as he can. There's a lot of material here that was covered, so I'm sure there's got to be some kind of question or two. So if you have a question, take the time to go ahead and type it in the Q&A section of this webinar. If you really don't feel comfortable doing it on this platform, you can email me the question at rich.longo@flycastpartners.com. That's rich.longo@flycastpartners.com. And we'll ensure that you get an answer within 5 business days. Or pick up the phone, call us at 844-FLYCAST. That's 844-359-2278. Once again, that's 844-FLYCAST, 844-359-2278. And it's starting to look like we don't have any questions here, Bobby. If you have nothing else to show us, I think that we can thank you for your time today and let you get on with your busy day.
Great. Well, thanks, everyone, and I look forward to talking to you again in the next webinar.
All right, folks, thank you again for taking time out of your day to join us here at Flycast Partners. Please take a look at our next upcoming webinars and sign up for what interests you. And until next time.